Everybody, I know that all of you have been tracking events here outside the building near the Metro entrance, an incident that law enforcement has responded to. So I'm going to bring up Chief Woody Kusse, the Chief of Police, Pentagon Police, to offer you a couple of words at the top, and then answer your questions to the best of his ability. As I think you know, it's still an active scene. There is an ongoing investigation, and there is likely a lot of information that we simply won't be able to confirm or speak to at this point. But I'm going to bring him up here in a second. I will, if it's okay with you, actually, I'll moderate this. So I'll call on you. We'll do the best we can to get as many of you your questions answered as we can. We have a lot on the phone as well. I'd ask you to please limit your follow-ups. The chief does have a meeting shortly that he's going to have to get to, and we got to make sure he makes it in time for that meeting. So we'll probably keep this to 15 or 20 minutes with him, and then I'll come back up here to the podium and be happy to deal with any other questions of the day that you might have. Okay, with that, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This morning at about 10:37 a.m., a Pentagon police officer was attacked on the Metro bus platform. Gunfire was exchanged, and there were several casualties. The incident is over. The scene is secure, and most importantly, there's no continuing threat to our community. The FBI is on scene, leading the investigation, and again, the Pentagon and the Pentagon Reservation are safe and secure. I want to thank our allied first responding agencies who came not just to assist us, but to help protect and serve the community, our local community, and offer my sincere thanks from the Pentagon Force Protection Agency and the Pentagon Police to those responding agencies.
Chief, thanks for taking our questions. We understand that a police officer has died and that that he was stabbed and that the assailant was, in response, the assailant was killed. Can you confirm either of those things? And then can you tell us, do you interpret this as an effort to get into the Pentagon? Was this some sort of threat against getting into the Pentagon or the building, or any sort of terror-related threat?
Ma'am, right now it's an active, ongoing investigation. The information that I have is preliminary. So it continues to evolve, and I would be providing those details at the earliest opportunity, but right now it's just premature. The situation has been resolved, but the investigation must continue, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the integrity of that process.
You can't confirm the deaths of the officer or of the assailant?
Ma'am, I can't compromise the ongoing investigation right now.
Sorry, I just have to say, we have reporters who are outside the hospital who saw a body being taken with a heavy police presence. There are a lot of reports that a Pentagon police officer, I know that this is a difficult time, and my condolences to you and your colleagues, but I don't understand how confirming that a police officer was killed and whether any others were injured would jeopardize the integrity of an investigation.
Ma'am, I completely respect your question. I understand. But again, it is an active, ongoing investigation, and I don't want to compromise the integrity of that process right now.
Let me just ask you this then. Are there reports that a police officer was stabbed, as you mentioned, that someone was attacked on the Metro bus, that police officer has died from his or her wounds? Are those reports incorrect?
Ma'am, I'm not confirming or denying those particular reports right now. The investigation is ongoing, and I do promise to get back as soon as possible with further details, but I can't release those right now.
Let's go to the phones. Dan Lamont. Dan, can you hear me?
Sure, yes, good afternoon. We've been waiting for hours at this point for clarification on a number of things. Is there anything else you can add? And at this point, where is the suspect? Do you have any sense for where he has gone? Thank you.
Sir, at this time, I do respect that. As I said, this is an ongoing investigation. It is still very active, and I will provide further details at the earliest opportunity. But right now, I can't get into those details.
Can you talk about the nature of the attack? We've been hearing shooting and we've heard stabbing. Can you talk at all about that?
Again, ma'am, those details are still being worked. The information that we have is preliminary, and I don't want to acknowledge or deny anything that could be erroneous. There were a number of things, and that's why the investigation continues. I want our investigators out there on scene working in conjunction with the Federal Bureau of Investigation to work through those answers and be able to provide those details at the earliest opportunity.
You said several were injured, though, so there were other people besides the officer who was attacked, that's correct?
There were several injuries that resulted from the incident.
Let's go to NBC4, Julie Carey.
Thank you for doing this and coming to talk to us. Can you tell us whether the officer was the intended target in this attack, or did the officer intervene and resulted in injuries? And then secondly, the Pentagon Metro entrance has repeatedly been the site of attacks or intended attacks on the building. Does this latest incident give you pause and think that maybe additional force protection measures might be necessary at this entrance?
That's a good question, ma'am. Again, I have no further information with regard to motivation or the series of events that occurred. Those are being put together as we speak. The Pentagon Metro station is probably one of the busiest in the transportation system. It is a hub for commuters as well as building occupants. There are a number of measures that we have in place out there. Every time an incident occurs, whether it's here or anywhere else across the nation or in the world, we do after actions on those, we examine them, we look for things that we can do to improve. But right now, again, it's still pending. We will certainly, as this investigation concludes, take another look at any measures. Our mission is to protect not just the building, but the community that we serve that transits through that station.
So you think it's possible that there'll be additional security measures and make it more difficult for anything like this to happen at that station?
And then we would review the results of the investigation, and we would give that due consideration. I wouldn't say right now whether they were adequate or insufficient. We're going to take a hard look at them, every incident, whether it's here or anywhere else in the nation.
Could go to JJ Green on the phone.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you, JJ.
So, sir, can you tell me how you became aware of whatever it was that took place at 10:37 this morning?
The initial announcement came out as a radio call. We all monitor the frequencies, and we heard the call that an incident was underway.
So you said earlier that there is no continuing threat. Does it mean that the assailant has been neutralized?
Ma'am, the scene is safe and secure. The Pentagon community, the Pentagon building itself are safe and secure. We have no further concerns about any further continuation of this particular incident at this time.
Tom?
Thanks, John. Thanks, Chief. At the beginning of your remarks, I think you said, and I want to just be clear, that the officer was attacked by this individual. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but it seems like the officer was not involved with the individual in other words, he was just attacked randomly or deliberately, but in other words, the incident started with the officer being attacked.
I don't have the entire chronology of if they came into contact prior to. Again, those are the details that we're trying to piece together right now, doing the forensics on what happened at what time and putting together a factual accounting for how that occurred.
The escalation began then when this individual attacked the officer.
That's the first indication that we had
Okay.
when the attack was started.
Thank you.
Sir.
Okay, we got time for just a couple more. Laura Sullivan on the phone.
Hi, John. Thanks so much for doing this, sir. There are now congressmen who are sending condolences about the Pentagon police officer that has been killed. So I'm gonna give it one more shot. Can you provide any information about any fallen police officers or any injuries that happened? I mean, this is very much out in the news there.
Ma'am, again, I completely respect your question. I understand the interest, and it is an ongoing investigation. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I do pledge that we will provide the information as soon as possible.
Lucas?
Chief Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News. Are you looking for one suspect, or are there multiple suspects?
Sir, at this time, the scene is safe and secure. We continue to investigate. We don't know about any other associations.
Were there are reports that a suspect is on the run. Can you provide a description of that suspect?
I have not heard that report, sir.
So you're saying that there's not a suspect on the run?
The scene is safe and secure on the Pentagon reservation. There were a number of people who fled, and there were some erroneous reports that are being pursued as part of the ongoing investigation.
So can you just clear up, is there a suspect on the run, yes or no, Chief?
We are not actively looking for another suspect at this time.
And can you rule out that this was a terrorist attack?
It's premature, sir. We don't know what the motivation was.
Louis? Hi, sir. It sounds like this is an isolated incident. Is that how you would characterize this right now? And if it is an isolated incident, is it something that might prompt further security reviews in the future?
As I said earlier, sir, every time that there's an incident, whether it's here locally or anywhere else, nationally or even internationally, we take a look at those incidents and see if the measures that we have in place are sufficient, need to be improved. We continually assess our protective posture here. Again, not just for the building, but for the community as well. The last time we had a significant incident on the Metro platform was March 4th of 2010.
Would you call this then an isolated incident and not something that the general population here and the building or on the reservation needs to be concerned about for their safety?
We believe, my agency, my department believe, that this reservation, the community, and the people that we serve are safe and secure right now.
I just want to confirm, you said that the FBI is leading the investigation in this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What role is your agency doing in this? If you're, I mean, you're obviously the agency involved. So what actual role is your agency doing in this?
Throughout the National Capital Region, actually throughout the nation, we operate under the Incident Command System, where we establish in an incident like this with multiple responding agencies a unified command. So there's one command that speaks to the participating agencies that are there. You can imagine the chaos if you hadn't an organized structure to manage an incident like this. We're providing support on the ground as well as familiarity with the area, certainly securing the crime scene, helping identify and preserve evidence, and conducting the follow-on inquiries or interviews with potential witnesses. So it's a cohesive team, and we are working in conjunction with them, but the FBI has the lead for the investigation. And again, that's part of the standing process.
Presumably they would have the information about the details of what led to the case, the circumstances of it, and I mean, because
all the participating partners in that unified command structure are provided the information that they need. It's shared. If there's a need to know, there's no hesitancy in sharing that, and it's protected.
Therese, we'll give you the last one today.
Thank you. Yes, Chief, there were stated, and there's reports that there were multiple injuries. Can you confirm how many were injured so far? And then also, when I was outside, I noticed a bomb squad and sniffing dogs. So was there ever a concern that there may have been bombs placed around the vicinity as well?
We are not concerned about a continuing threat, but if you can imagine, in a chaotic scene like that, we want to make sure that that wasn't a ruse, for instance, and I don't want to get into a lot of the tactics used, but we do take other measures to ensure that there's no continuing threat to the responders or the public. We don't readily acknowledge those, but there's a number of things that we do that might not appear to be directly related to the incident. It's a precaution. It's a prudent measure that we would take.
And then just follow up, are you able to confirm how many people were injured so far?
Not at this time, ma'am.
All right, folks, we're gonna have to let the chief go. He has a busy day today, so Chief, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
All right, there you heard the Pentagon Police Chief there. Woody Kusse, not really giving us much more information there. You have John Kirby there, the Pentagon spokesperson, taking the stand right now. But let me recap exactly what Chief Kusse had to say. He said that a Pentagon police officer was attacked at around 10:37 this morning. Gunfire was exchanged. Several people were injured. And that's it. He wouldn't say how many people were injured exactly, and he wouldn't say if there were any fatalities. But we were telling you just a few minutes ago, roughly 30 minutes ago rather, that the Associated Press is reporting that a Pentagon police officer did die amid this chaos after being stabbed by someone on that bus stop platform there, the Pentagon Metro station platform, bus stop, and that the suspect ended up being shot by one of the officers there. But again, Chief Kusse wouldn't go on to elaborate about the circumstances surrounding everything that transpired there. But I can also tell you that Virginia Senator Mark Warner, just as this news conference was beginning, sent out a tweet saying, "I'm incredibly saddened to learn about the passing of a Pentagon police officer who was killed earlier this morning in a senseless act of violence outside of the Pentagon. My heart goes out to that officer's family and friends, as well as the entire Pentagon police force." So you can only imagine the pain that that police force is feeling right now, as well as that officer's family who will not make it home. Who will not make it home tonight. But again, the chief there not confirming that information as of yet, saying they're waiting to develop a timeline to get some of the facts, and saying that there's no continuing threat and the situation has been resolved. Now, going along with what Senator Warner said in that tweet there, our Jess Arnold is outside of George Washington University Hospital. And Jess, we know that there was a procession involving police officers from multiple agencies a little earlier today, right?
Yeah, not only from Pentagon Police. We saw Park Police, we saw DC Police, we saw the Secret Service on motorcycles as well as cars escorting a black van that we saw either a casket or a body bag with what looked to be an American flag draped over it, loaded into that black van before that procession went down 23rd Street and then ended up turning onto the mall. Now, our colleague who is down by the mall said he saw other officers lining that street down there. He saw people who were just on the mall cheering on who they presumed, who we're not sure yet exactly was in that van at the time. But again, that was a huge police presence that had been waiting out here by this ambulance dock and then saluted what looked to be a body bag or casket, loaded into that van, and then escorted it all the way down to the National Mall.
All right, Jess, thank you so much. Again, what we're learning at this hour is that a Pentagon police officer, was stabbed and killed outside of the Pentagon shortly after 10:30 this morning, according to the Associated Press, and that suspect was later shot and killed in this case. We're going to work to learn more. You can follow along for updates anytime using our WUSA 9 app, and we're going to have the very latest right here when I see you back here at 5 o'clock. Until then, have a great afternoon.